Hey loves, Kim here, and I'm back with another video. So if this is your first time on the channel, I just would like to say welcome. Hi, my name is Kim. I am a Sims 4 gamer, and I'm here with the very first installment of my Nisey Dream Wedding series here on YouTube. What inspired this series was I was recently engaged at the end of November, and my heart has just been so full, and I was really just overjoyed with that. Just with that whole moment in my life, and my fiance and I have started to plan our wedding, and being in the wedding spirit, I wanted to share that with you guys. So I went live and I asked you all if you would be here for a wedding building series by me, where I would create the dream wedding venue of the special Sims in your game, and you guys were here for it. So I'm just so humbled and honored that you guys trusted me to create such a momentous venue for an even more momentous moment in your Sims life. So I just hope you guys enjoy this series, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into the build. So this build is for my friend Keo. She is Love Sims on YouTube, and I really enjoy her content. If I had to choose one thing that I enjoy the most about her content, is definitely her storytelling skills. I always find myself super invested in her Sims and their lives, and I just want to know more about their stories and how they engage with the world around them. So definitely shout out to you, Keo. Thank you for trusting me with creating a venue for your Sims. So in this portion of this series, I will not be featuring Keo's couple, mainly because she actually has an LP on her channel, actually 2 LPs on her channel featuring this couple. They started out with her doing the Bachelor challenge, and the Bachelor's name is Damon, and he was on The Bachelor looking for his lady love with 7 lovely Sims, and eventually he did find the one for him. And I won't say her name, but I do encourage you all to check out her playlist on that. I will have it linked down in the description box below. But I just really enjoyed seeing them interact and seeing their love story come into fruition, and I was pleasantly surprised when they ended up together. Honestly, I thought he was going to end up with a different Sim, but thinking about it, they're perfect for each other. So definitely check out that series. And she's doing kind of like a continuation of their love story after The Bachelor, so check that out as well. But the brief that Keo gave me was she wanted a garden estate wedding for them. So in my head, I wanted grandeur. I wanted something super traditional, super, I don't know, very posh and regal, and I just wanted something that would make these Sims feel like this was just a fairy tale for them. Another point in the brief, she said that she specifically wanted this built in Windenburg, and I thought that was perfect because Windenburg is based on the countryside of Europe. If I'm not mistaken, I know it's kind of hard to say of Europe. I mean, Europe is a whole continent, right? But in my head, this will probably be like the English countryside, or maybe even like the French countryside. I drew inspiration from a lot of castles over there, and I didn't want a castle that was over the top like a Disney castle or anything like that. I wanted it to be more, I don't know, just more traditional, simpler shapes. I just wanted the craftsmanship to really show in the material itself and really display it as being a testament through time of standing tall and still being beautiful throughout all of its aging and weathering. So yeah, her color scheme was emerald green or hunter's green. She also wanted mint, brown, and gold accents, so I tried my best to incorporate it in ways that wasn't too over the top, and just find some items that had her color choices but also made sense for the type of venue that she wanted. And yeah, I just had so much fun. Now this build took me ages, you guys, absolute ages. I would say I probably spent over 20 hours on this build. But that's because there were different iterations of this build. I believe I made like 3 attempts before I was happy with how the build was kind of coming together. Initially, I wanted more of like this big French manor, similar to the French manor build that I done on my channel some years ago. But I thought, nah, that's not really dim, and it was taking up way too much of the lot. So I switched it to a more mansion type mansion type build, and I wasn't really feeling that either. And then I eventually arrived on this kind of rustic aesthetic, which was perfect because she specifically used the words rustic as far as the look and feel she was going for. She wanted the rustic to be kind of mixed with elegance and vintage, just type of elements here, and I just think it all came together very well. We are currently in the formal dining room. I do recommend that if you're going to utilize this lot for wedding venues, that you might consider either locking the doors to your house or trying not to have food too close to the dining table. I mean, obviously that table can only seat 8 Sims. Now if you wanted to do a super small intimate dinner, I mean, perfect, do it in the dining room, but I create a separate ceremony and a reception space that's detached from the house. So I highly recommend that you take advantage of the lot and do your celebrations outside. Here we are in the kitchen, and actually we just left it. I don't spend too much time inside of the house because since this is a garden estate wedding, garden being kind of like the first word in that phrase, I wanted to focus a lot of my efforts on the landscaping and getting all of the greenery right. But in the kitchen, it was very small and compartmentalized, which is something very common in houses from the period of inspiration I was pulling from. I really love the way the vines look across the building. I really focus it on the higher bit of the building, which is to the right as we're seeing it right now, and I'm adding in some window boxes around the windows with some beautiful flowers just to make this space feel just a little bit more delicate and alive. And you know, I just really love the look of the flowers, and it matches these tall flowers that came with the get together pack that's on either side of the doors, and I'm embellishing it with those bushes also from the get together pack. These bushes are the ones that you can fertilize, sleep in, woohoo in, but I got it fenced off so we don't have to worry about your Sims not using the toilet and using the bush. I use some of these columns that's from the romantic garden pack, and I put it around this bay window feature, and I really love the way that looks. I just feel like it just adds an extra layer of decoration, and kind of like paired with those planter boxes underneath, I just feel like there's so much lush and greenery going on. I just really love the way that turned out. Right now I'm just trying to finesse the vines and things like that, and I'm trying to figure out at the moment how to add access to the back of the house. I just feel like it's kind of ridiculous if your sim only had one way to enter and exit this lot, so I wanted to make sure there were other ways to get out back, because that is where the ceremony and the reception space is held. By the way, this lot is classified as a rental lot. I just felt like it was most realistic if you're going to use this as a wedding ceremony to go ahead and rent this out for a day or so. It is a little bit on the expensive side, so I believe the game says that it costs about 4,300 simoleons, give or take, to rent this out per day. But honestly, you get so much space here. I personally think it's worth it. it. There's a lot of things that comes with this build. So we have 4 suites. So we have just different bedrooms if you have a larger party, or if your couple wanted to honeymoon here. There's plenty of space to do that. There's also a kitchen, a dining room, and a formal living room, which is here, so you'll be able to chill out and relax and hire catering if you need to. There's also an informal living room inside and a couple of bathrooms in the common spaces, and each bedroom suite has its own ensuite bathroom. So there's a lot within this build. I'm trying to just add a couple of decorative elements out in the back porch area. So I added some corbels, and now I'm going to add in just some more columns and some lights just to really make sure the space is visible at night. I love the way that the light really illuminates the building at night, and the contrast with the shadows is just really beautiful to me. And I had fun just trying to figure out what elements from different packs was really going to bring home Keo's theme for the wedding, and I think I enjoy how it all came out. Some of the key packs that I used was the Get Together pack, obviously for this Windenburg world. That is the pack that this world came with, and just a lot of other elements, like a lot of the wallpapers and floor and foundation treatments, and just some more elements like that. I also used quite a few items from the Vampires pack. That game pack just has a Victorian style to it, and I just really enjoy how that looks. I also used quite a few things from the Vintage Glamour pack, the Get Famous pack, and the Luxury Party Stuff pack, just for all of the kind of like elegant pieces. A lot of the furniture and things came from those packs, just things that are a bit more on the decadent side. And I just use a combination of a lot of different packs, you guys. So many to even name. Oh, and I forgot to mention that this lot also has a study. Now, if you're looking for more modern entertainment, beware, I did not put any TVs within this lot, which is so new for me, but it just didn't feel right. I feel like in a setting like this, and just how big the lot is and how much garden you actually have to explore and wander around with, like, who would want to watch TV? But in the study, I do have a PC, so if you needed to order some supplies or do some research or just take care of some business while you're renting out this lot, you will have those amenities to do so. Here in the formal living room, I'm just trying to figure out what furniture I want to go in here, what embellishments, you know. I have just a couple of items. I love the globe from the Vintage Glamour pack. It actually doubles as a bar, so you can get a little drink in there. And I have some paintings on the wall. I think the one above the fireplace might be from base game, or it might be from Get Together, and the one that is above the accent table on the far left side, that one is from the Vampires pack. And I just have a lot of base game items in here, believe it or not. This is the informal living room, so this is on the 3rd level of this build. I can really see the groomsmen coming in here with his party. They having a couple of drinks, you know, just hanging out around the fire, enjoying each other's company. Or if it gets a little bit too cold outside, or if your bridal party decides to rent this out for more than a day and like spend the night here, this is just a nice area for larger groups of Sims to come around and, you know, just gather and enjoy each other's company. I wanted this area just to feel full, so I added in just some more, I guess, wooded antique elements, so like those hutches behind the bars, the mirror. I'm going to place a grandfather clock in the corner here. I just want it to feel nice and cozy, slightly masculine, but not so masculine at that someone with a traditionally feminine aesthetic will feel like it's off-putting. And I added in that photo on the fireplace. I had to remove the wall panel behind the fireplace to do so because, as you know, photos automatically kind of like snap to the wall, and I wanted to be able to align it with the fireplace, so I did that using the Move Objects on sheet. And I'm just adding in some more greenery just to kind of add a little bit more earthiness to it, but also add a bit of greenery so it doesn't get too dark and too heavy in here. My tip is, if a room is feeling too dark and too heavy, add some greenery. I feel like that's automatically going to add a little bit of life to it and make the room feel a bit more alive and light. So in each of the suites, it's kind of like themed. So this is the red room, and I don't know, I kind of wanted to convey kind of like that over the top passionate feel. It's not exactly my thing, but I feel like in a house like this is super appropriate, and I just really love the texture on the walls. Initially I was going to have a desk in here. This was before I created the study, but I figured that we should have a designated study and took that out. This is the pink room. So the pink room is on the second floor, and this was definitely giving me princess vibes. I can definitely see someone who's really into pink staying in here for the night, you know, just kind of feeling like a princess and feeling very decadent and just showered with all of this pink glory. And this is the something blue room. I wanted this room to be a bit more pared back, a bit more traditional. I feel like the something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue theme was definitely key here. This bed is from the Vampires pack, and I just wanted to kind of convey a classic beauty element in that room. So I made it back outside, and I'm doing something similar to the back side of the building that I did with the front side of the building with the vines and just adding in that green element. I love these wall water features that came with the romantic garden pack. I don't really have enough bills where I can use it, but I really love that little piece. I moved on to the garden area, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to use the reception space. So I contacted Keo and I asked her if she wanted me to tell her what I was thinking as far as the reception area, or if she wanted to be surprised, and she opted to be surprised. So when I reached out to her, I had three alternatives: either eating underneath the stars without a covering, eating in a tent, or eating in kind of like a greenhouse. So I kind of went with the greenhouse deal, which is why we have the glass ceilings, and I just really love it because you are covered in case it is raining, and you are exposed to more harsher elements, but you still feel very much connected with the garden, and you are still eating underneath the stars if you are choosing to dine in the evening time. And I just really love the way it came out. This ceremony space is able to accommodate 26 Sims, so we have 24 chairs in the general guest seating area, and then we have 2 chairs at the sweetheart table. So I just really like the way that came out, and I feel like I was able to get enough seating for any type of event you want to run. I think by default you're only able to invite 15 Sims to a party or a social gathering, but obviously if you have more people in your household, you can get up to 23 guests. So I just felt like 24 was a good number for the guests, and 26 total with the sweetheart table was more than enough to make sure you had guest space and ample seating and eating. In this gazebo, I have room for dining, room for dancing, and room for a DJ space, and I feel like this is where the color scheme really comes to life. Those chairs with the kind of I guess fabric on the backs of them. Those came from the luxury party pack, and I was so happy that they have a green swatch because I was able to really bring out that emerald green element that Keo wanted. And the chairs at the sweetheart table, those are actually from the Get Famous pack. I like them because they're very over the top, but you know, just enough for the two couples, or the couple of two Sims, for them to have and to really stand out. And yeah, I eventually do change out the roof, which I'm doing right now. The gable look just was not doing it for me because unfortunately we're not able to really manipulate how windows show up on the walls. So I wasn't able to put windows on that gap for the gable roof, so I eventually opted for a hipped roof look, which is what I'm doing now. And I'm adding in these curtains here from the Vintage Glamour pack. I just really like the way it looks, and I feel like just adding drapery makes it feel a bit more romantic, a bit more intimate, a bit more kind of like storybook. That's definitely what I was going for, storybook elegance with some rustic, vintage, and just elegant elements in this build. I'm adding in a couple of chandeliers. Initially I was going for these hanging candelabras. I believe those came from the Vampires pack, but I end up going with this chandelier that I think is from Vintage Glamour. I'm not 100% sure. And I'm adding in these curtains from the Luxury Party pack. So initially I was going to go with these golden curtains from the Get Famous pack, but I just really love the green. But since I had to make it larger, it's technically on the level below in the basement, and I had to use to move objects on cheat to raise those curtains up. And I'm illuminating them since they are technically underground. They came out really dark, but I'm using some invisible lights from the debug menu to add a bit more illumination to them. It was definitely a lot of trial and error, but I feel like I got a great balance with it, and I just really love the way that it came out. Now I'm just going in, adding in some more shrubbery around the place. I wanted there to be just different areas for your Sims to move about and meander and just really enjoy the outdoors. So on either side there is green space. Don't worry, I get rid of that pool. I wish we had a pond tool. I was going for kind of like pond vibes with that pool, but then I thought, knowing the Sims, they're going to be swimming instead of attending a wedding, so I just got rid of it altogether. And to add to the whole fairy tale and magical element to this build, I'm using the fairy lights from the Parenthood pack. Now with these, be mindful, this is not in the lighting section. Those are actually in the wall decoration section, so just putting that out there if you're looking for it and you can't find it. For some reason the game does not consider these Parenthood fairy lights to be lighting. Anyway, here I am just trying to figure out what type of entertainment I wanted to go with, and eventually I do settle on a DJ station. I just feel like it made the most sense. I did play tested with the busking station, and it just, I don't know, you never know what music the musician is going to play, what instrument they're going to bring for the busking station. I also did a bit of play testing with a microphone in the reception space, and we hired entertainment and they sent us a comedian, which was very awkward, so I just opted for a DJ booth. I feel like you have the most control when you hire a DJ because you can request different types of music, you can request them to move forward from a song, and they really just get everyone in the party mood. So yeah, I'm just playing around with the roof some more. Like I said, I do go for kind of like a greenhouse slash gazebo aesthetic because it's not completely closed in, but the ceiling is glass and you're able to still see the sky and really take in all of the natural beauty that is Windenburg. Love it. At this point, I'm just going through different decorative pieces and seeing how I wanted to infuse it with the elements that I've created previously. So it's at this point where I decide you know, where I finally want to have the ceremony space. Initially, it was like towards the center of the lot in between the building and the reception space, but I decided to put it towards the back of the lot just so it's a little bit more separate from the reception. I don't know, I just wanted your Sims to have to explore the entire lot. I feel like that's something that we take for granted, like natural beauty in general. So I wanted to make sure there was plenty of activities throughout the lot. And now I'm trying to figure out how I wanted to arrange these chairs. Initially, I was going to use these kind of like wrought iron chairs from I think these are from the Get Together pack. And while I do like them, they just really didn't go with the arches. We definitely need more wedding arches, but until then I had to make it work. So I do change these out eventually with some wooden chairs, which we will see in a bit. But I'm going in with a lot of bushes. So I use a lot of landscaping elements, from bushes to terrain paint to shrubs to trees. This is a garden wedding, so I definitely wanted to enforce that. I feel like I would not have had to use as many bushes if we had the ability to paint the exposed terrain. Unfortunately, we can't change that. It just kind of is what it is depending on what neighborhood you're building in. So I just tried to make it work as much as I can. And now I'm adding in some additional stairways on the area between the house and the ceremony area, just so your sim could get in between the levels. This is actually the stairwell where the wedding party or anyone actually would access the ceremony space, and I just like the fact that it has its own separate stairway, and it's really direct to the ceremony area. So I just like the way that looks, and I'm trying to fill in some of these gaps with rocks and just terrain paint, and just trying to make this space look as convincing as possible. This is, in my head, it's kind of like a private garden, like just a little niches and areas. I wanted it to look natural. I didn't want things to look super boxy, which is why I was getting rid of the hedge fencing that we have in game. I just feel like it felt too boxy, and I just wanted it to feel more organic, more freeform, and more realistic, you know. And I wanted to make sure that everyone entered the lot from the front, so I'm adding in a lot of bushes and rocks so your Sims won't be coming from every which way to access this lot, because I feel like that's very annoying. In this area, I wanted to make sure I had a fountain and maybe a statue or two, so I'm just cycling through some items from the romantic garden pack, and I do settle on this statue here, and I'm going to create kind of like a little pathway similar to like a little park with these brick pavers here. And I just really love the way that it comes out. I feel like everything just really came together, and I like the fact that it feels residential, since there is like a house build on here technically, but it still feels kind of commercial with elements like the park and the fountains, and you know, just all of these different pathways for your Sims to take and really enjoy this space. That was definitely a goal of mine. Now I'm figuring out lighting, and I think I used these lightings from the romantic garden pack. I really love the amount of light they give out, and like I said, it's just giving me small park vibes, which I feel is super duper romantic and perfect vibes for a wedding. I'm going back in with the terrain manipulation tool, just trying to figure out my levels of terrain, and these are the chairs that I go with in the ceremony space. I eventually changed them to a darker color because the white was just too much for me, and I wanted to tone it down a bit. So this is kind of like our reception area, not exactly the formal reception area. I would say this will be actually really perfect for cocktail hour, you know, maybe having appetizers in between the wedding ceremony and the reception, or if you wanted to have your cocktail hour before the wedding ceremony, hey, do you. I have that buffet table from the luxury party pack, and I also put in that I guess it's kind of like a fountain, like a food fountain. I mean, you can fill it up with juice, you can fill it with cheese, chocolate, fruit punch, just so many different items. And I really like this parasol from I believe that came with the Snowy Escape pack. I just really love the way that felt like it. I just feel like it filled in the space really nice. It was circular like a lot of other items and elements in this build, and I just really like the way that everything came together. I'm adding in a couple of pub tables so your Sims can set down their plates when they're done getting appetizers. Speaking of food, I strongly recommend that you use the buffet table opposed to getting a caterer. If you do get a caterer, I recommend that you hire them before your event, and here is why. What the caterer does, they cook food and then they just sit it on the counter wherever they were cooking at, and then the Sims will come and get the food. But if your caterer is cooking all the way in the kitchen, all of your Sims are going to go to the kitchen to get their food, and they're going to eat wherever it's closest. So that's why I recommend either using the buffet so the Sims could use the tables in the reception space to eat, or hire your caterer beforehand, send them home, and bring all of that food down to the reception space. But at the end of the day, you do you. This is your Sim special day, so definitely do whatever makes the most sense to you guys. It's at this point where I'm just going in and adding in some finishing touches with the terrain paints. I wanted to change it from that really harsh kind of like gravel texture to more of a stone paver texture, which I went with here. I'm adding in a bit more lighting, you know, again, just to make sure this space just sparkles and shine at nighttime, and just to make sure you can actually see, because I feel like this place just really glows at night. Obviously, I think it looks good during the day as well, but either way, your Sims need to be able to see what they're doing. And again, I'm just playing around with just some of the elements, trying to figure out where I want to put what, how I want things arranged, what's going to work best for your Sims, and you know, what type of activities will they be able to do. You know, I'm adding in this tripod so you could take pictures. I'm adding in some more lighting. I'm going to add in a couple of those outdoor heaters as well, and I'm also making sure that the driveway is lit so when you leave you can see where you're going at the end of the night. But anyway, you guys, I have rambled on enough. I think I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. If you made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. It helps me and the channel out more than you know. And feel free to subscribe and be sure to click that bell, that way you never miss an upload from me. If you are interested in this lot for your game, be sure to follow me on the gallery. My origin ID is Simply-Nisey, and I will have all of the download details in the description box below. And be sure to stay tuned for the next video concerning this lot, which will also be linked down in the description box below. I'm going to have a brief machinima just showing off this lot in this glory and just celebrating love and matrimony. Again, I will not be featuring Keo's couple because she has her very own LP for that. Be sure to stay tuned for when her couple gets married. I'm super excited myself. But anyway, like I said, I'm hopping off here. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, I will talk to you in the next video. Bye guys. Thank you so much for joining me for the first installment of the Nisey Dream Wedding series. Be sure to check out the description box below for a link to the official machinima showing off this lot in all of its wonderful glory. Be sure to like, comment, and share this video, and as always, I will talk to you in the next one. Bye guys.